Hello, everyone. This is Zephan Blacksburg, and today I'm joined by a very special guest who I actually found through an amazing Facebook page, which he'll tell you about in just a little bit. But Douglas is known for his kindness, compassion, and warm smile. He builds connection and understanding to allow your values and aspirations to naturally arise in conversation. He draws out what is most important to you and helps you to find clarity from within. Douglas isn't afraid to ask the tough questions to challenge you to realize your dreams. He listens intuitively and uses many tools, exercises, and assignments to explore the magnificent potential within you and gets you in touch with your unique gifts, all while helping to ignite the courage within you to live the life of your dreams. Douglas is currently pursuing his certification with the Quantum Success Coaching Academy, an accredited International Coaching Federation training program. He has also received a certification for the Happiness Success Coaching Training with Robert Holden of London and creator of the Happiness Project. Douglas has an extensive background in coaching, personal development, and communications, and was a highly in-demand certified personal trainer and weight loss specialist coach, coaching clients one-on-one for many years, and today he's joining me. Douglas, thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Thank you, Zephan. I'm really happy to be here, and thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. You shared a great story with me that I don't want people to miss out on, and I really resonated with it because, as you know, we both left the corporate world within the last couple of years, and so this is a relatively big life move and a big life change. And so I was wondering if you could just share a little bit of your story and what motivated you to leave the corporate world and what was important to you in your life at that time.
Well, actually, it's been a year now, this week, that I did leave the corporate world, and I had been there in this particular job for 12 years. And even though it was a great job and the pay was good and the benefits were really good, what kept popping in my mind is, was I really happy? And the thing that motivated me to look at this was that I just wanted the rest of my life to be the best of my life. And at the time I made the decision to resign, I was 60 years old. I'm now soon going to be 62 in 2 weeks. And so it was really important to me to make that decision. But what I did, instead of just what it did was kind of put it out to the universe for me and say, just guide me to what is right for me. And one morning I woke up, and the first thought I thought when I opened my eyes was, today is going to be the day that I'm going to go in and I'm going to resign. And it's going to be the best decision. And I trusted the message that I received, and I went in and I resigned. And I gave a month's notice, surprised everyone. And actually, they had, and I didn't know this, they were creating me a brand new job, brand new title, more money, everything. And I just said thank you, and here's my resignation, and it's effective July 31st.
Wow.
And I walked, and the whole month after I gave the notice, I never once thought about that I wasn't making the right decision. And and during that period of time, people came up to me and started talking to me about the things that I had said to them that had made a difference, how I'd helped them with their job, and that I just had this natural intuition with people where I could guide them onto something new that was great for them. So that I have been thinking about coaching for a while, and coaching was really big for me anyway, with having a huge personal training business, and in my job I was in HR and I did coaching all the time. But before I decided to do something a little different too. I decided to, once I quit the job, I decided to go trekking in Nepal, which was totally out of my comfort zone. And it was an amazing experience, and my friends and I went. We started an outreach project. We adopted a school there. We carried them all new school supplies, and then I came right back and went to a life coaching certification training. And over the past year, I've built a coaching business. I've I get up every morning and I just give myself the time to think about what I'm grateful for. I set an intention for every day about what I'm looking for, and I just consciously choose what I want to happen in my life. So it's been an amazing year.
I want to
And
bring up an important point here for a second just before we move on, because you brought up something really crucial here, is that you opened yourself up to this possibility. This was not you reaching out and saying, the world owes me anything. This was not you reaching out and saying that you are deserving of something. This was simply just placing the intention of what it was that you wanted to go after, and letting the world know that this is your mission right now. And I think that that's really important to share with everyone.
it is. I actually don't think anyone or the world owes me a thing. Um, I did at one point in my life, but I think that what I think that I need to create what I want for myself, and I think I have to look for it every day. And I believe that every day is filled with opportunity. It's also filled with lessons. And if something's not working, I get to look within and figure out what that means to me. Um, if it's something that I have to change, if it's something that's coming from my past, or if it's a story that I'm just making up, because I think we make up a lot of different things. But I get up every day. I have no expectations from anyone other than myself, and and that's what I go out and look for every day.
I
So.
mean, that's a really amazing way to live your life. And I'm sure there are tons of people listening in right now that, would agree. It sounds wonderful to them, uh, and they would want to live that way, but maybe some fears come up. So I'm curious to hear, it sounds like you really had a clear decision of where you wanted to go that morning that you woke up. I'm just curious if, maybe even if it didn't happen right away that day, perhaps, a week or two later after leaving the office for the last time, was there any fear or anything that rose up inside of you where you kind of had to sit there with it for a moment and say, okay, what am I afraid of? Why am I afraid of this? How am I going to overcome this?
It did, because for me, and being 60, what did come up was the money and the benefits. And how was I going to recreate that doing my own thing? And, that's where I really, I don't need to have answers right away. That's where I sit with things for a while and just like, what does this mean to you? Why is this fear coming up? Where do they come from? And a lot of that, I believe, for me was watching a family member, my father, struggle with money. And that was something that I saw my whole life. So it's like I think it's always been something that I've carried forward with me. So to know that and to spend the time and figure that out and say, but that's not my life now. This is my life now, and this is what I trust myself to do, and this is what I know I'm going to do. So it's taking the time to figure out where those fears come from, and I think you know you have to go within, and I think sometimes people have a hard time going within and trusting answers and being able to hear the messages that are clear for them, and that's why I love life coaching. That's why I write on my Facebook page every day about just trusting and listening to that inner voice more than the outside world that's trying to have you fit in and be a certain way.
So, what advice would you have for someone? Let's say that they want to take the leap bad enough and they're ready to go, but they want to make sure that they're prepared and setting themselves up, for a great day every single day. I know that you have a really great, system or process in a sense that you go through in the mornings and throughout your day. So I'm curious to, just expand a little bit more about how are you improving on your mindfulness and your gratitude, and you know, staying happier way more often than you might have been in the corporate world.
I just think that for me that it's really important that when you first wake up in the morning is the best time to really take the time to think of everything that you're grateful for. And if you can't think of anything else, then you open your eyes that morning. So what a miracle that is. And then to take, for me, it's also then to take the time to think about how you want your day to be and consciously be involved in that decision about how you want your day to be. Because then if you do, I've just learned that if you don't, every day seems the same. And you end up doing the same things. But if you, for me, it's setting that intention and consciously choosing, I'm going to be happy today. And I'm going to look for situations that are going to make me happy. And if something comes up that doesn't make me happy, then I'm going to figure out what that means for me, because there's a lesson in it for me. But I choose every day I choose every day how I want to feel. And that lets me know that I'm just really in control of my life, the things that are happening around me, and it just sets me up for success. And I've made success habits a really important part of my morning too, and that includes getting up and writing my blog, and doing push-ups, and studying a lesson in a course of miracles, and a course in miracles, and just that's my morning ritual, and having a great cup of coffee, and that's just my morning ritual, and it just works for me, and it when I go out the door, I'm in a good mood, and I always, I'm watching people walking up the street, and people are smiling, so I must have this nice look on my face where people are smiling at me, so it works for me, and it's just how I make my life be successful.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed this, and maybe you found this too, is that, uh, I used to go to a gym, and I knew most of the people that would go there. And so on a daily basis, you're seeing a lot of the same people. But the funny thing was that if I was having a bad day and choosing to really let it show through my frustration, through my, not wanting to talk to other people, people wouldn't approach me.
Hmm.
And if I was having a really good day and I'm at the gym and I'm just doing my thing, tons of people would come over and start talking to me just out of the blue. And I think that there's a really good reflection of, what's going on the inside when you're interacting with other people. It really shows you, where you are. And I'm sure, have you experienced the same thing with that?
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in that your thoughts and what you're thinking are actually creating the reality of what you're seeing. Um, so that, and I've seen what you're saying too, and I've done some concierge work over the past year too, where where when I'm standing there and I'm open, and people just start walking up to the desk, and a lot of people just stop by just to say hello, and I've met people that by me asking a question or two open up about these extraordinary things that are happening in their life. Or um, one woman opened up to me who was a guest in the hotel, where she had experienced over the past 10 years cancer 6 times. And so, people, when you are in a good place, people are open, and they want to talk. They want to talk about their life. They want to be in a conversation, and I've learned to give people that permission, because people are afraid to open up, and I've just let it be known that it's okay, and I don't come from a place of judgment about it. It's just what it is, and so I understand exactly what you're saying about, when you're in a good place here in your head and what you're thinking, people know that, people respond to it.
Yeah, and I mean I've seen, and there's quite a bit of research coming out now. Some interesting metaphysical experiments on, for example, I think someone took two jars and filled them with water, and one jar you were supposed to express angry thoughts towards, and one you were supposed to express happy thoughts towards. And when they froze the water, they looked at the crystal structures of the ice, and the structure was actually completely different. The one that had angry thoughts sent towards it had a very non-uniform, non-symmetrical shape to it, whereas the other one looked kind of like snowflakes. And so, while this is something that's very hard for us to comprehend from a scientific background, I'd like to think that the way that we are in here really does reflect out here, and so being more conscious of that is just so important in our everyday life. I'd love to hear from you if you have any advice or some methods that you recommend to people, in checking in with yourself and figuring out where your mind is at.
A gauge for me is the biggest gauge is how you feel and your feelings. And are you feeling happy? Are you feeling joyful? Are you feeling frustrated? Do you feel drained? Do you feel like your energy is drained? I talk to people all the time about letting their feelings be their gauge on whether they are doing something that's right for them or something that's not right for them. And when you're frustrated and your energy is drained, um, then or you're happy or joyful, or you're feeling energy, your energy is high. Those kind of things make you know that what you're doing is right for you. And so I always use my feelings as my gauge on what's going on around me in my life. And there it's basically, have you heard of the law of attraction?
Absolutely.
That, yeah. So it's more of that. What you believe, what your feelings are drawing that experience to you, no matter what it is. And actually, the coaching certification that I'm going through now with the Quantum Success Coaching Academy is based on the law of attraction, the law of allowing. And the gauge for all of that is how you're feeling. And if you're feeling frustrated, what is a tiny step that you can take to move that up the ladder just a little bit? Because you can't be going from feeling frustrated to being happy immediately.
Right,
You
right.
have to move it up a scale. And what is a step up from you from feeling defeated or feeling frustrated to have you, what is a step that you can take? So that's how I work with my clients in coaching. And, I always look at it on a scale of 1 to 10. Where do you feel like you are today?
Mm-hmm.
And the average people come in at about a 5. Well, what is it going to take to get you to a 6? And what is it going to take to get you to a 7 in your life? What is going to have to happen for you? And when I do this in front of people, you can see a shift in energy immediately. You can see people starting to dream. You can see people imagining having their life be a different way. People will say to me, oh, if I was from a 5 to a 7, I may be writing that book that I've been thinking about for 10 years that's just been in my mind. I may lose that 50 pounds that I need to and be taking better care of my health, better self-care. So I base everything on how I feel.
And I think that's probably one of the best ways to do it is, that's the biggest tell of where you are and what's going on inside. So, looking inside rather than outside is, I would say, probably the first step. Um, Now, along with that, I'm just curious, it, to sustain this over time, I'd imagine sometimes is hard, or at least at first. There's probably a lot of practice and getting used to it. You know, it's like any new skill that you learn. You're not going to be fluent at speaking a new language right off the bat. And same thing goes for this. I mean, I found that there are many times where it's much easier for me to be present and in the moment. For example, the other day driving home from our boathouse, I was just kind of noticing that the sky had this amazing like purple and orange color to it. And it's funny because I like stopped myself and I was in awe of the color of the sky, and that's not something I normally stop to notice. I mean, I'm still paying attention to driving because I was in the car, but so I'm wondering, it, I guess it's got to be practice, right? Like, how do we sustain this for the long term?
I think it is practice and finding teachers that have a message that resonate with you, um, books that you may read, um, being around people that are uplifting, and a lot of it is paying attention to your own heart, because we live in a world that opinions and advice are something we seek out versus listening to what we know that is true for ourselves. And people will readily give you their opinion and advice. And we live in a world that tries to have us fit into a certain place just to be part of a certain group and everything. And I actually believe that we were never meant to be. We're meant to be unique. We're meant to stand out. We have a purpose here. Each of us has a purpose, or we wouldn't be here at all. And so I think it's a daily thing. And my life is based on what I look at daily, and what you're just saying about being in the moment and being able to look at the sky and see the different colors of a cloud, or or to look at a flower, and everything has a message for us. And not getting used to doing the same thing every day. If you walk to work, walk on a different street. Notice what's different about that. Always being in the moment, and that's what I talk about every day. And be willing to be truthful, to be honest, to be willing to look at yourself, because as I said this morning in my blog, it's like we all have a treasure chest. And the truth is the key to the treasure chest. And when we open it up and who we are, then we start within and relearning all these great things about ourselves. And then we can look out in the world, and as you said, that cloud formation and the colors of it was a gift. And but it's a daily practice. It's something that you have to keep doing daily. And it just means putting your foot right in front of the other. And as you do it more, it becomes less of a thing, something to where you have to think about and to try to maintain. It just becomes a way of life.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, absolutely. And so now we hear a lot about things to do in the morning. I'm curious to hear, because most people never really talk about what to do at night. And I know that I'm someone who's always had trouble quieting down my mind at night and trying to fall asleep. So I was curious to hear from you, if there's anything that you do at night or anything that you focus on just to calm yourself down from the day. I was just at a conference and probably interacted with 50 to 100 people throughout the day, and so my mind is racing 100 miles an hour. And it's tough to kind of go to pure silence and fall asleep after that. So I'd love to hear, if you have anything in particular that you do in your practice, or anything that you've experienced other people doing in their practice, just for relaxing the mind when it comes to going to sleep.
well, a lot of people actually do meditation before they go to sleep. And it may be to just some music, or a chant or something. I've learned that, particularly like you just coming back from a conference, I'll sit down and write my thoughts out about the highlights of what I've learned throughout the day.
Mm.
And what I've been doing lately is, and I'm finding it's so much fun and help me relax. Every night I create my own image that I put out on my Facebook page, and it's a quote that I've made up myself. And it just, and it's usually, you know, here's an example that I used last night. Be proud of every single step you've taken to get where you are today, and embrace your own power, strength, and courage as you navigate life and all the opportunities and lessons being presented to you. And it just, at night I find myself talking about love and compassion and having your heart be open, and it just puts me in a very relaxing place. And I just, it gives me an opportunity too. A practice that I do at nighttime is to think about all of the special things that have happened through the day, and particularly when they've had something to do with another person. It could be something that I've said that they have said thank you for, or I've said thank you for. And that's how I measure my success. It's never based on any money. It's never based on anything. It's about the experiences that I have throughout the day. And every night I go to bed and I'm like, that was a successful day. I feel peaceful and very calm. So I just use that. So just looking at the successes and the experiences that I've had throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we don't celebrate our successes enough. I have so many people who, in my journey, have just told me that I'm way too hard on myself. Yeah, and so I've been starting to and working really hard to, look both back at not just the day, but the last year, the last 2 years, the last 10 years, and be appreciative of the successes that have happened, over time too, because we don't have the ability to look forward, and we do have the ability to look back, and a lot of things have happened back there. So it's always nice to kind of, look back and see how far you've gone, and just be appreciative of that and accept that, every good and every bad thing has led to where you are right now. And there's a quote that I think of sometimes. It's something along the lines of, at one point in time, it was everything that you wanted. So even though right now it might not be something that you saw as a desirable thing that happened in your life, it was something that you wanted, and it was a piece of your life, and it got you to where you are right now.
Everything has gotten us to where we are today. No matter if you came from, you came from your childhood, your past, everything has brought us right here to this point. And like you just said, it's important to celebrate what's gotten you here. And a lot of people don't celebrate. People are way too hard on themselves. I find that in my coaching business. So I start out each coaching call with, tell me something. Each coaching call starts with a success. Tell me something this week that you feel really great about, that's been a great success for you. And that's how I start out each call. And I think it's important to celebrate. I think it's also important that at the end of the day, if you didn't do something that you said you were due, or if it didn't go that way, or we all have moods sometimes. We say something that's unkind. It's important that before you go to bed, you forgive yourself. Forgiveness to me is a very big thing, and I make it part of my daily practice too. And I talk about it quite a bit, because forgiveness is a challenging thing for people, because they associate it with, if it's something from their past, with condoning a behavior, when it's actually just something that we do for ourselves. It sort of like opens up the doors and the prison that we put ourselves in. So forgiveness to me is a daily practice I do every night too.
Very nice. I think that's a great thing to add in for everyone listening in. Douglas, this has been an absolutely great conversation, and I'm sure we could go on for much longer than this. But I'd love for you to share. I know you have a great Facebook page and a website and some things online. I'd love for you to share the web addresses for that and where everybody should go to check out more information about you.
Okay, that would be great. My website is www.douglasruark.com, and my Facebook page is it's called My Wish for You Today, and it's a great page, and I go there every morning and I write whatever comes to my mind as I sit down to the computer. So I hope you'll visit and join the page, and also come to my website. And if you have questions, send me an email, or if you'd like a complimentary half-hour session, a coaching session, just send me an email and we can set up a time.
Perfect. And just spell out that website for me so I make sure everybody has the correct spelling.
Yeah, it's www.douglas, Douglas, Ruark, Ruark.com.
Perfect. Douglas, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. It's been great to hear about, your morning rituals and how you get your day started to see success and happiness and everything. And, congratulations on being only a year out from taking the big leap from leaving the corporate world. And I'm sure that it really has been rewarding, over the last 12 months.
Great, thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity to do this. It's been fun and exciting. Thank you.